Hello everyone, I'm Said. In this video, we are going to talk about Blazor authentication, a very simple one. Recently, I tried to play with the Blazor authentication, the built-in one with IdentityUser, but I found it very difficult and complicated because it adds lots of unnecessary stuff. So I was thinking if I can implement a very simple authentication, just like a login page with my database, with my custom logic, how can I do that? So in this video, we are going to implement such a this scenario. We have a login page that simply just get username and password. We're gonna check the username and password. If it is not correct, we're just showing error. Otherwise, we're gonna set a cookie and then start using app. Simple like that, without any using identity user or those kind of um, that we have to use lots of tables for the identity user, but in this video everything is simple. We have some complicated stuff, or better, some trickier stuff to do, but I'm sure that at the end of this video you will see how much it is better to implement your own authentication. Okay, so let's do that. Here I have a very simple Blazor application with interactive server mode, rendering mode. If I run the project, you will see the template one without any extra stuff. We are going to implement the authentication step by step. Okay, so bear with me. First of all, we need to add this NuGet package. I'm using .NET 9. Then we are going to use the latest version of this package. The component authorization, we need to add that one because of some built-in features that we're going to use, like authorize view, manage what pages user able to use, or if it is not authorized, we're going to just redirect it to the login page, right? We're going to find out how to do that. And then one JWT package, because we want to simulate after user logged in, we generate a JWT token and then store it in the cookie. Okay. What I have here, I already added one login page that is very simple one. And then by clicking on the login button, we're going to have one method handle login. Currently, it is nothing. We're going to implement the whole logic here and then just redirect user to another page, setting cookie, everything here. The first thing we need to do, let's just add the menu here. You know that in the nav menu, we can add some other menu here. I'm just going to copy one page. Actually, let's call it Auth page. Actually, only logged in users can use this page. Otherwise, we need to redirect it to the login page. Okay, so let's put as an auth here. And then I want to copy another one to our login page, right? We have the login and then we added the menu here. So let's see how the login page looks like. Okay, it's running. So now we have auth page, which is nothing. We don't have it yet. And then the login page, which is the simple view here. Okay, let's start implementing our stuff. As you can see, we don't use any built-in stuff, but there is one important method to call is cascading authentication state. As we know, the Blazor interactive mode is kind of mixing your server code and the client code. So actually, when we are navigating between pages, we need to have the state, to keep state somewhere in application, so that when user trying to navigate between pages, if it is already logged in, we can keep it and user can actually working with our website. Okay, so we need that one for sure. Another one actually is when we say authenticate state, there is one built-in class called authentication state provider. That is really matter because we're going to use it a lot, because every time Blazor detect that you want to authorize user, it call this class and this method actually get authentication state. What is the state of authentication for the current user? Is it already logged in, or I need to redirect it to the like logout or other pages we have? Okay, let's keep it here. So because we have that one, we need to replace the built-in one. How? Simply with just saying in the dependency injection, I want to add scope, the built-in one, which is authentication state provider. And then, yeah, we want to replace our own custom one with the built-in one. Let's go for the page that we already added, but there is no page for it, the auth page. So I'm going to add one page here. Let's call it auth. If by putting page is actually enable for navigation, because this is a page. And when we add the package for the authorization, there is new component enabled called authorize view. So we can actually put everything we want to be protected for only like the end user. We can put inside this component called authorize view. So this is part of authorization nugget package. Actually, I added already into the import. So in all the pages, I already have access to all the components or method from the authorization. So I recommend to put it here as well. So it is easy and everywhere we just can start using the components inside this nugget package. So here in the authorized view, there is two more components. One is for authorized, and another one is for not authorized. So this one simply says, I want to check the authorization or authentication for the user. If user is already authorized, then I'm going to show something else. If not authorized, then I want to log out or I want to redirect user to, for example, our own login page. Here, I just simply say, let's authorize user. And then here, I want to say not authorize user. Okay, nice. As I said, wherever we put this authorize view in the background, Blazor on server side, it tries to ask, what is the state for the current user? Is it logged in or no? Based on our own logic, because that's the reason we put our custom one. So it means always it's gonna call this method get authentication state. So if I put one breakpoint here, we already just created an empty authentication state, which means has nothing and detected as a not authorized user. Okay. So let's just run project again. So we have one problem here. Some services are not able to construct. Okay, yeah. So here in the constructor for the custom auth, I already injected I HTTP context accessor because I need it. What I am going to do is just saying builder services at HTTP context accessor. As we know, if we want to use that interface, this one, we have to add all the dependency injection for the HTTP context accessor. Okay, so let's run the project again. Right. Here we have the login and then the auth page. As we can see, it asks our class, which already replaced for the authentication state provider, and asking, okay, I find out that there is a page here asking for the authorized view. Is this current user that is working with our website, is it authorized? Is it logged in or no? So we say no. By returning this one, we say no. And then it simply says not authorized user, which is based on this one. Okay. So far, we know that if we put authorized user, we can actually detect a user has been logged in or no. Okay, nice. So let's go for implementing our own login. I already added one login and also have one user service here, which is just simple one, all mock. Here you can put your database logic or calling some API from your backend one. That's fine. You can just change the code here. But simply I just checking if the username is not admin, just return. Otherwise, the admin and the password, user password is just as admin, right? Okay. So what we want to do here is we need to inject this authentication state provider, and then after we need to kind of casting that object to our own custom one, because actually this is the one that we injected into the dependency injection. And then here first I want to yeah, here we can see custom auth. Okay, so we have it. And then what I am going to do here is, because in our login method we have the string which is actually generating a JW token on the fly. Just we want to simulate the scenario. So I say token custom one dot login. Okay, we are passing there. If there is some exceptions, then we're going to show the error page in the login page. That's fine. Also here, actually, we don't need this stuff because it is not a task. But if you want to call some third-party APIs or database, definitely you need to use asynchronous way. But here it's just all void. Let's check what we can do and what we have done so far. As I said, I'm gonna put something wrong here, not admin, and then yeah, it's gonna go for login. Yeah, invalid username or password. Okay, so that's fine. It is going here. User is not correct, and then will through exception invalid user. Nice. And then if I want to just write admin, admin, okay. Yes. So we already generated the token, and then this token is actually, let me put it here. This token actually is a valid one. We can see this is the JWT token, name, role, admin, something that we just on the fly generated. Perfect. So now, based on this image, we need to actually set a cookie. This part was actually for me was the hardest part, to find out how I can set a cookie and then reuse it somewhere else. Because as we know here in the Blazor, there is kind of the life cycle of every component. So we need to take care where we want to add a cookie. For example, if I want to access HTTP context from the page, either I can actually inject that HTTP accessor here. For example, let's say HTTP context accessor, HTTP accessor, okay. And we can here start using the HTTP context accessor dot HTTP context. We know that HTTP context is not trust safe, so you should not save it, for example, in a HTTP context like this, and then reuse it somewhere else. Always you need to use it directly, like here, like response, because we need to set a cookie in the response to the client, to the browser, and then it will set the cookies for us. Cookies, append. Yeah, that's it. I think it is good enough. HTTP only, right? Secure. Don't need those. Because we know that HTTP context won't be null, we can put this exclamation here. Okay. And then another way to use HTTP context is injecting like this from here, by injecting or also using cascading parameter, because as I said, it will be cascading all of the dependency here. But here I want to use the HTTP context accessor doesn't work here. Yeah, I just want to show you why. Okay, so let's go ahead and run the app again. Okay, login, say admin, in, we have the token, and then, yeah, the error that we are seeing here, headers are read-only, response has already started. What is the point here? In Blazor, the HTTP response is already started when the component is already loaded. Once the component means the page or any other component code with page or without page, there is some kind of methods as part of the life cycle of any components in the Blazor. So for example, we have override, on unrender, uninitialize, unparameter set. So we only can actually change the response before get started is uninitialize. If we want to, after actually components loaded successfully, like for here in the our login page, components already initialize, and then we want to call another method setting some kind of changes or login user, we cannot change the response. And here only we need to use uninitialize. Okay, so uninitialize is actually the first step of loading a component or a page, but we know that here we don't have anything. User just redirect to the login page, and after that, it will call the login and we want to do some stuff. So actually, we cannot use the uninitialize method here. What we can do instead is after, let's just remove this one here because it doesn't work. What we can do is after user logged in successfully and when we get the token, we can actually redirect user to another page. And then in another page, because we already set the token in the request, when we redirecting to that page, we can after set the cookies. Okay, that is the thing that was for me very difficult to find out how to do it. So we can actually add another page called, for example, post login. And then let's call the page post login. Yes, we don't want to do anything. Actually, it's just a proxy. We redirect to this page, and then this page set the cookie, and then again redirect to another page. Okay, so what we need here is having a string parameter called token, for example, and we can say from query, supply it from query because we're gonna pass the token as a query string here. So it is automatically bind that parameter for us. And then on uninitialize, we can set the cookie here. Okay, nice. So here again, we want to inject HTTP client accessor, and then also we need to use this class navigation manager to actually redirect user between the pages. Okay. Actually, if the token is null, we need to redirect user to the login page because why user came here without any token doesn't make sense. And then here we can say HTTP context accessor dot HTTP. Yeah, actually it is doing like that. And let's just put this cookie name in a better way. I want to create constant class here. Blazor constants, and I want to say const string like auth cookie name. let's say access token. Nice. Really don't like to put hard-coded strings inside the code. Now we have post login. Let's put some cookie options as well, like what we can say, expiry. Let's say, okay, 30 minutes, that's fine. That's enough. And then, yeah, HTTP only also is better always to set. Now we need to actually redirect user after login successfully done. So here also I have to inject navigation manager, and just simply we can say navigation manager navigate to. Yeah, nice. We are going to redirect user to the post login with the access token. So let's put one breakpoint here and then run the project again. Let's see what we have got here. Login, admin. So we already got the token from the login page. And if we saying what we have cookie, yes, perfect. So here we have the token set in the cookies. After the cookie set, we can redirect user to the home page. That's fine. Now we already have the cookie in our cookies in browser side. Now we can ship that cookies, that access token to our backend one whenever we are trying to interact with any pages that has that authorized view, right? We can use that cookie. But how? As I said here, again, let's just do it again here. And then going back to that auth. So you can say admin, return to the home page. Let's save the user. Why not? For the auth page, we set the cookie, but still we are getting not authorized user. And it is correct because it's always calling this authentication state provider, but here we don't have anything. Okay. So for example, if I click on that one again, coming here, asking this user is already logged in or no, and then we say no, then it is saying not authorized. What we can do, the reason that I injected this context accessor, we need to check if, yeah, thanks for the copilot, generates all the stuff for me. And checking if cookies contains our cookie name, then getting the token. Actually, yes, we can validate the token as well. Don't think we need to change anything here, but just in any case, if there is something happened, we need to just say, okay, nice. So what we have done here is saying if the token is in the cookies, getting the token, validating, reading the token. If token is not valid, we know it is a JWT or no kind of that. Because this is all the mock and simple stuff, right? So you can put your logic here. I'm just trying to accept whatever this copilot generated. So here also we need to return if there is no cookie with that key. Okay, nice. So let's go and check again. You know that the cookie is there, didn't remove. And if I go to the auth page, it's coming here, it's saying that yes, that cookie is there, getting the token, reading token, claims. Yeah, all good. Then we can see this is authorized user. Okay. Only one thing remains here. What happens if user doesn't have access? we need to redirect user to the login page again. For example, what I can do, let's just remove it, unuse. I can actually create another component. We can call it like logout. And then here can say logout. Okay, this is here. It's just then injecting. Okay. So if user not authorized, we want to actually log out the user, and then it has to go to the login page again to re-log in. Okay. We need to do the same thing, same way of doing a stuff here. Again, in initialize, can say protected, override, void, yes. And we need some injection for the accessor and also for the navigation. Right, perfect. Because in any case, if, for example, that access token already timed out, we need to delete and then redirect user to the login page. That's it. I think it's simple. Let's run the project. Yeah, here we log in successfully. Going back to the home page, authorize user, counter, that's fine. So what I'm going to do, just I want to remove manually, and then going back to the auth page. And as you can see, it was not authorized, and then redirect user to the login page. Okay, perfect. So we could actually implement this way for the very simple one. I wanted to use my own code without any dependencies to the identity user from the built-in identity NuGet package. That is, adding a lot more unnecessary stuff to your code base, so that if you can implement your own, why not? Okay. One thing that maybe you're asking, I don't like to add this kind of things for my entire pages. Maybe you have 100 pages in your application, so every time if you want to put this authorized view, it's gonna be a little messy. So what you can do actually is in the main layout for the body, you can wrap the body inside actually that authorized view. For example, if I want to just copy and then the main one, I want to do like this and put body here, also login like this. Okay, nice. Because this is the main layout for you. So if you want to have always user logged in before using any pages, you can do something like that. Or you can create some different layout. For those pages that required login, you can create custom layout. And then, for example, here you can set layout and then like main layout or custom layout or whatever you want. Okay. So this is the way that you can actually make your code a little bit better and more organized. I think that's it. We could implement very simple way for the login in Blazor interactive server mode. I hope it was useful for you. After, maybe I need to create another video about the authorization actually, because here in the authorize, you can see you can pass roles, what kind of roles the current user can access, or also you can, I think, use other stuff, role, or here maybe it is on this level. Yes, policy. You can also put some policy, like, policy based authorization or role based authorization based on whatever you want. It is possible, but I think this video is long enough, and then maybe after I can create another video about it. Please put a comment for me how you would implement your authentication in the Blazor application if you're using it, and I can read the comments and answer them. Thank you very much for your time.